Dr. Jack Hyde stood frozen, his eyes fixed on the computer screen displaying the results that would change the world. Beside him, his young colleague Ian bounced with excitement. "We just tested it," Ian exclaimed, his voice trembling. "And it works at a 92% return rate." Jack's head reeled as he processed the implications. "I would have never thought." Trying to gain his grounding. 92% based on my machine? Yes, Ian corrected. But based on your machine, it's a 93% return, so no. Jack's eyes darted to the computer's desk, struggling to stay upright. "You're serious? Then we can assume that we're closer to 93 than 92. My machine is more accurate." Ian nodded, still in disbelief. "Sir, we can industrialize plastic into oil. I was happy with a 50% return rate." The reality sank in. Their Foundry guild had just become a leading producer of oil, transforming a harmful waste into a valuable fuel. Years of research supported by public funding and protected from corporate sabotage had actually paid off. "This calls for a celebration," Jack managed, his voice thick with emotion. Ian's face suddenly fell as a thought struck him. Why did this take so long? "Sir, I don't intend to be rude in any way, but this was easy chemically." Jack's eyes flashed. "Don't be stupid," he snapped. "This is only possible because of the donors and benefactors. They were killing scientists who had no protection. We're not special in terms of what we done chemically. We're just part of the first guild to gather support for this particular project." As Jack spoke, memories flooded back. He was still haunted based on his own parents being faced with torture for their formulas. He blinked back tears, grateful that Ian would never know such horrors. "Never forget the shoulders we stand on, Ian," Jack said softly. Ian nodded solemnly. "But our Foundry..." "In that regard, yes, we're special," Jack agreed. "There is no guild that has been so successful with translating to its general public. They provided us funding and shielded us from corporate hijacking, as well as evil you couldn't imagine. The Foundry's unique communication network would spread the news. Soon, their guild would be celebrated across the system. Their relatively complex breakthrough presented by partnered artist guilds who would translate the complex science into engaging content for the public." Jack smiled, realizing the full impact of their work. "Once this news gets around the Foundry, we'll be modern-day celebrities. In old times, your mom wouldn't know half the words you used to describe this news. The social media conglomerates would have made sure that only so many people even knew what we even did here." Ian's eyes widened. Our Foundry wouldn't have benefited? "Our Foundry wouldn't have existed," Jack exclaimed. "Scientists belong to the government. There was no other way to be paid." Ian's eyes widened with admiration. "But you're more than just a scientist as a result of that dark time in history." Jack's mind drifted, memories flooding back. Jack remembered the closet door. He never forgot the details ingrained on that door, or his parents screaming from the living room. "Do we have to get the kid?" The voice was loud but muffled from the mask. They made noise but held strong regardless of what pain was inflicted upon them. "My dad decided not to withhold from the guys if it got me involved. I would never get to see the scene firsthand. I'll give you the code and my notes on the formula. His father's voice echoed, filled with resignation and sacrifice. Jack blinked, returning to the present. His voice was soft, thick with emotion. My father gave up everything for me. The main lesson my parents passed to me was showing just how naive scientists were. At that moment, Dr. Parker entered the room. Catching the tail end of their conversation, her eyes gleamed with respect as she looked at Jack. You made sure we were regulated as onshore entities so the big corporations couldn't get us, she stated, her tone a mix of admiration and gratitude. Yes, Hyde is much more than a scientist. In fact, he never stopped surprising me. Jack stood there feeling the weight of his past and the potential of their future. He was more than just a brilliant mind. He was a protector, a strategist, and a visionary. His experiences had shaped him into someone who could navigate the treacherous waters of scientific discovery in a world still healing from corporate greed. As news of their breakthrough spread through the Foundry's network, Jack knew that this was just the beginning. Plastic to oil conversion was a scientific marvel, yes, but it was also a testament to what could be achieved when knowledge was shared freely and research was driven by public interest rather than profit. The Foundry had created a new paradigm, one where the darkest of pasts could indeed forge the brightest of futures. And Jack Hyde, standing at the intersection of science, strategy, and human compassion, was living proof of that transformation. As they stood there on that new brink of an era, Jack felt a profound sense of gratitude. He held out,